Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So we had a huge dichotomy with the massive amounts of calls over puts this morning. I pointed that out in the report this morning, but never did I expect Powell to come in and say that he was replacing all of that old 2012 white paper that they've been working under. That came out of total left field because he made a public statement 3 weeks ago. I mean, I don't even think it's been a month, where he told reporters in a news conference that it did not matter who Trump brought in as a Fed chair, that the board would operate under the same white paper from 2012 that they're operating under now. It just threw me for a loop. And the Boston Fed lady backed him up in a separate statement, a separate news article, where she said it did not matter who the next Fed chair was because they will not change the regulations that they're operating under. So they had two Fed members, the chair and the Boston lady, come out publicly saying that they were going to defy Trump. That was 3 weeks ago. So this change of the entire white paper to bring it current, I mean, maybe my ranting hit a nerve because, you know, can you imagine operating under a 2012 white paper first, you know? And then second, I mean, well, first, I mean, let's go back to first. That's insane. And none of their policies work. They fail at everything that they do. So they just defy the American will of the voters and the people. Um, they're not elected. I mean, it's like you can't get them to listen to any reality. The reality is 9 trillion in debt is going to be restructured this year. The United States debt is going to be restructured 9 trillion, and they have refused to lower the interest rate. That's costing you. That's costing your kids. Um, that is insane. They could have dropped the rates already to 3%. You know the difference between 5% and 3% on 9 trillion in debt? I mean, it's huge. So they are just defying the American people. They're hurting the country, and their policies are just crap. So, I mean, to say that they're changing the policy structure at this late in the game when Trump's about ready to replace him, it's it is astounding. So I hope they mean it and that policy is going to be changed and that these are not just words on paper and they have no intention of doing anything differently. Apparently, he's already backtracking on some of it, saying that a lot of the framework still is there. So, I mean, it is incredible the arrogance that a lot of these people have for their failed policies. I mean, if these policies were good, well, yeah, we would say keep it, it's working. Don't break what's not broken, right? But they're not working. They don't work. None of it has worked. They create bubbles. They blow things up. Um, they're always late. They're always wrong. And they're playing with our lives. So, no, I mean, when we have an opportunity to bring, like a hybrid treasury gold backed treasury stablecoin into the marketplace and have many people all over the world being able to invest in that, it would it would immediately allow people to come back in and buy treasury debt because it's going to be an investment and grow wealth safely. It's going to be backed by the US government, by the US Treasury, so they could safely invest. You know, there will be a huge demand for that. I mean, the Fed has done nothing, right, to innovate or to change things or to do anything. And the money just flows out the door to all these other countries that we have no idea. There's no audits, there are no contracts, there's been zero GDP gained from any of those quadrillions that go out the black hole to the euro dollar system that they've built. And it is time. It is time that people start recognizing what's going on and trying to fix it. And I have news for them. If Trump can get the right number of people on the board and then replace Powell, he'll have control of that board, and they can do whatever they want then. And that's what Powell's trying to block. So they're trying to block it to protect what? You know, I guess to protect the global central banks. That's what he's protecting. He's not protecting you or me. He's protecting the global central banks. And it needs to stop. So we have trading partners. We're happy to have them, but we're not there to provide their entire sustenance through backdoor swaps that never get repaid. And that Fugazi system of the Treasury, the way it's currently structured, they're buying back their debt. They sell the debt, they cash it in. We have to pay, the taxpayers pay that. I mean, don't just think it's digits flying around everywhere. When they cash that debt in, and China is cashing it in massively at this time, those are real taxpayer dollars on the hook for that. Those are taxpayer dollars that go back out the door. That's not digits. That's real money. And we need to put a stop to this because they buy the debt with nothing, with air that they create out of thin air, but then they sell it back to us and we spend taxpayer dollars to reclaim it. Whoever invented that, it's when you when you think about the structure of that, you realize how crazy it is. It's an insane system. I mean, if I had a money printing tree in my backyard, I'd be buying treasuries left and right. Because why? Because I can sell them back to you for real US dollars, right? It's money laundering. That's how China paid for everything. That's how they went to Australia to buy the commodities. They had to use US dollars. So they would print from their money printing thin air machine, buy US treasuries with it, and then go sell the treasuries to buy whatever they needed with real dollars to build their empty cities to make it look like they had GDP when they didn't. All those years of the great GDP coming out of China was just fiction. It was self-created noise. They don't have any industry. They're communist. There's no right growth. They're communist. So their house of cards is collapsing as fast as their demographics are. And they, can't militarize everything to cover it up and just start, taking control of everything. Um, it's another failed system. I mean, it doesn't work. So please don't bring that communism here to the United States. It doesn't work. You have to have GDP. You have to have growth. And to have growth in GDP, you need innovation. You need to be able to support lending to the right people, not tamp down the lending to the businesses. They're going to go out there and create jobs and commerce. They've had it backwards. They have shut down lending over the last 10 or 15 years and run this pipeline to Europe. And it's got to stop. It has to stop. So that 2012 white paper has to go. I don't, he even said today that the framework is still there. They're going to put a few paragraphs of new language in, but we'll keep the underlying basis of our program. That won't change. It's got to change. It's not working. So hopefully some brighter people than me can come in and see what's going on and fix it. All right. As far as our volatility, what is going to happen? It is the NQ 6 month 2 that is controlling the market and causing all of those monthly ones to sit where they are. We do have a higher 2 above it right here at 23,764.50. So we had the 23,694 and then the 23,764.50 right above it. Or not there. Sorry, this one. 694, 23,694. So it goes from 621 to 694. 70 points. So which is nothing, right? For NQ, it's just like, a wick it and come back down. So what does that mean? It means 68% of the yearly range. And here's your dip. So it looks like they're setting up a head and shoulders. There's your left shoulder. Here's your head. And then here's going to be your right shoulder. And then it's going to roll over. You can see that the RSI is already heading down. So that is the reason I think that the NQ is held back while the broader market rallied up on this announcement. And as soon as Wall Street realizes how fake that proposal is and that it is buried inside their 2012 paper that doesn't work, this is going to fold like a house of cards. So be careful. I mean, I want it to rip and roar. I do, but it's going to require more than Powell's paragraph change because he even said that the underlying structure is going to be the same and it doesn't work. So we need growth, we need prosperity, we need GDP, and we're not going to get it with Powell. So we need to get innovators on that Fed board. And I really do think that that hybrid stablecoin with treasuries and gold can do it. It would be a stable source of investment for many that need a stable source of investment, and it would be backed by the treasury, so the treasury would always be supporting it, which would mean continual buy-ins of Bitcoin, contrary to what Besant just said. He said that it didn't include buying Bitcoin, but my proposal would. My proposal would buy it. It would shore it up. So there would be, instead of halvings, you would have the government purchases and people could time their purchases like twice a year or something like that around the government purchase or quarterly or twice a year or yearly, whatever you're going to design it to be. But then you would have that surge of growth because you would have the demand baked in and and it would grow and it would be like those old double E bonds that everybody used to buy. um you have to go way back to remember those. I used to buy them all the time. But yeah, I think it would be a great idea, and there's plenty of other ideas that are coming out for crypto. but it's going to be awesome. And Bitcoin is a market that you really need to be, familiar with. It works just like the equity indexes and the other markets as far as the Jats. Um, it absolutely does. We broke this 7-day twos and heading up hit the monthly mean. That's where they're collecting their gamma. So they got it sitting there collecting gamma, 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 and then they'll send it up or down from there, and it's probably going to go up. Here's the quarterly levels right above it. This is where they'll have their decisions to make. And then even the quarterly twos and quarterly threes. There's a long way to go for September 30th. So easily can get up here. All right. Get this RSI pointing up instead of down. So this is one market that absolutely could turn around. I'm not so sure about ES and NQ because the whole premise of what they're doing with that policy change is probably just adding a paragraph or something. I don't know. I have to read it. I haven't read it yet. Try to do that this weekend. All right, guys. I'm also not happy with the report today at all. It turned into too much numbers. I've gone from one extreme to the other. I want to go back to a narrative format. I mean, I don't think you want to see the numbers. I think you want to know key levels and is it going to be, contraction or expansion day? And where are the inflection levels likely to be? Keep it simple but effective. And maybe my three components that I'm highlighting um, with my gamma tilt and the SSR and can be highlighted, but not all the components of my metrics. You don't need to see all of those ratios and everything. I can have them under the hood and represented in narrative form. Should anything be there that you need to be aware of and bring it out at that point. So I'm going to work on my template tomorrow and hope to have an easier report to navigate through and be thinking about that for the platform design that I'll be working for on when I transform this onto a live platform, how I want it to look. I think I know what I want to do. So it's like I'm going to take out all of the data elements and because we can get, our eyes can glaze over looking at all those data elements when all we want to have is the underlying structure and bring that forward into a comprehensive report for those markets every day. All right, so Monday we'll have a fresh template. Hope you all have a good weekend and we'll chat at you soon. Thank you.